Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So I'm trying to record this podcast. I keep stopping. So here we go. Take 3. So here's what I want to talk about with you today, sister. If the thought of, well, you know what? If I share something about who I really am, that the people in my life will not accept me or will reject me or will be upset with me in any way, then I want you to consider that perhaps they should not be the ones that are allowed into your life. So here's the deal. My experience has been that when people share things about themselves or when they want to, usually it begins with the want. So let's say it's something that's shared on social media, right? Or they just have a conversation with a friend, or they're writing something. Maybe they're sharing something. They have a podcast or sharing something in a podcast. They are sharing something just maybe in their business, or they work for somebody or from some business, and even just to kind of share their truth of what they think will be helpful. A suggestion, a very loving suggestion to a friend about maybe something that has worked for them that they've asked, or they would in the most loving way, like not in the, some people in network marketing MLMs that say like, oh, I have something that's going to help you. You have to have it. It's like, no, there's no pushing. It's just like, hey, this has really helped me. Can I share that with you? They're often like very, very afraid to do so for 2 reasons. Number one, let's actually start with the first one. I believe is it's really about being vulnerable, right? It's about like sharing something of you. And because we live in this world these days that's so plastic, everybody's great, everything's great. Here's my Facebook meme, yay, great. Here's my first day of school pictures of all the kids and those little plaques that they hold, which I don't know where even you guys get all these things, but yeah, everything's great. And we'll often use that as a comparison and say, well, geez, if I say this and everybody's great, then perhaps the feeling is kind of like people are going to think like there's something wrong. Like, what's wrong with her? Why isn't she in everything's great? Like, where's her plaque for the kids with the grade of the school and the year and everything of when you're starting? Like, people are going to think I'm this negative Nelly, or I shouldn't, If you really, really speak your truth about something, particularly if it's something that's challenging, right? Everybody wants to share the great. But how about the stuff that's not? How about the stuff that makes you go like, God, is it just me? Like, I'm really struggling with this. And I feel like I need to talk about it, I need to share about it. Listen, this is really what started me sharing any kind of a message in the online space. Sharing any kind of a real message from me. It's really started when I became a mom. And so I became a mom at the age of 41. And I started blogging about it, my chiropractic office website at the time, our chiropractic office website, probably when Tyson was like a year and a half. And I just, I didn't get it. I'm like, why is everybody saying like motherhood's so great, enjoy every moment? I'm like, I don't. I'm so thankful to be a mom. After 7.5 years of infertility, I'm thankful that a birth mom chose us to be Tyson's mommy and daddy. I'm thankful, but yet there's a lot of things that I find really fucking hard that I don't see anybody talking about. Why aren't they talking about it? So I started to share a lot of this stuff, and that was a blog that became a podcast, and that was almost 2 years, and then this morphed into Women Wanting More, which has now been going for 3 years, and from that has been coaching programs and live events and online courses. But it really did begin with the starting to share these things. And it was hard. I remember writing blog posts, pushing that publish button on my WordPress site and just being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I remember when people too, especially patients in the practice at the time would say oh, Dr. Karen, that thing that you wrote, thank you. I think that way. I feel like I was the only one too. And I was like, ooh, don't talk to me. This is what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, no. I wrote it so I don't want to have this face to face with you. I was very uncomfortable. It's so funny. If you seeing me as I am now, you might be like, you felt that way? Hell yeah, I felt that way. Everybody does. it's not easy to be vulnerable and say, this is what I'm feeling and this is who I am, and I feel compelled to really share it. Like with that intention, right? With that intention. And so I feel a lot will hold back because of that vulnerability piece. Like they are afraid of how people are going to like think about them. And then because they're being vulnerable, they're afraid then of being judged, being rejected, like, and that person maybe not wanting to be part of their life, making fun of them. I don't know, any of that kind of stuff. And what my experience has been for me is that the people that your message, your truth really hits, they will actually have more respect, less judgment, more trust, more love, will think you are like so brave. They will really commend you, honor you, respect you, acknowledge you, appreciate you for speaking your truth, especially if it's in with those that, have a really hard time. So it's almost like, you know what? You're like the voice for them, right? You're the one that's saying the words out loud or writing the words that they're really thinking on the inside. And if anything, it helps them feel so not alone. And we have this kind of really basic need as human beings to feel connected to each other. And so when we don't have that, it's this like, well, what's wrong with me? And something like, I must be broken, and like all of this. And so when we can read something, we're like, oh God, finally somebody feels like I do. It's like this validation for not being crazy and not being, I don't know, wrong. And again, something broken, something wrong with you. I remember some women wanting more when I created the podcast, and this feeling of like, God, I don't feel like there's women who are like me that don't. And listen, if you are a mom and you got the back to school little placards and the signs, like, cool. That is just not my deal to do that. Even if I knew where I got them, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's just not who I am as a mom. And those women then too that don't feel called to be a stay-at-home mother and don't feel called to really produce something outside of that and create something outside of that. And it's not, I'm right and somebody else is wrong. It's none of that. It's just going like, man, I felt really different as a woman. I've never had, until more recently, like really close friendships with other women. Almost felt really threatened by other women. I just felt more comfortable around men. It was just like easier. I felt more masculine often, And so, but what I started to realize is that the more that I spoke that message, the more that there was a lot of women saying, hey, you know what? I feel that way too. That's me too. That's me too. You're not alone. Like, it's also me. And I thought it was just me. So if you're feeling of, man, if I really share my feelings with my husband about something, right? Or with my best friend, or I post something up on Facebook. And by the way, don't base stuff, by the way, too, on likes and shares. And I know it's hard to not do. Like, I can still get caught up in that, right? But just know there are people watching you when you don't even know. There are people that are seeing what you're doing. It's just the way that you live your life, that you are inspiring, and you will never know because they will never speak up to you. It doesn't matter, right? You don't do these things for the purpose of, well, I'm going to do it because I need to be acknowledged. Like I shared something last night about my growing feeling and desire to have to just have a connection with God. It was something that was never part of my life. And I go to write these things these days, and even to mention the G word. I now refer to as the G word on the podcast and when I write. Because like me 6 months ago, a year ago, was like, somebody's talking again about Christianity and religion, like next. Like I would just basically glaze over and just not interested anymore. If anything, would kind of it wouldn't offend me, but I would just be like, here we go again. People that just say it's all about God and faith and don't do it. Just all these stereotypes and, thoughts and feelings I had about it. So I think now whenever I go and I talk about spirituality and God and all these things, that I kind of like, inside of me, I want to hold back for a moment. But I'm like, you know what? No, I want to share this. And so, great example, I'll post a link to my personal page on Facebook so you can read this. And I'll actually share it on Women Wanting More Facebook page. Actually, I'll give you the link for it there. But at the top of it, the title of the post that I did was I want to go to church. And it was like words that I never thought I'd hear myself saying. And you'll read the post and kind of hear. And I talked a little bit about this too on a recent podcast about finding your tribe, of just, being at a family festival is run by a local church and lovely people, and just like, you know what, I really feel this calling towards it, and just wrote about it. And all the thoughts and the feelings that I have. And, the number of people that commented and, just like really positive stuff. Now, will I still get hater stuff with some of that? Totally. Oh my God, motherhood's a great example. If I do any vulnerable thing about motherhood, or, today I yelled at my kids and I feel like shit about it, and today it was this, and this was the challenge, I have people that, women, not men, women, that come out of the woodwork and just use this as well, she's down, let me fucking kick her in the lady balls a little bit more now. You know what I mean, sister? We've all had those experiences. But I don't want you to use that to hold back from speaking your truth. Because somebody needs to hear it. And if anything, you need to get it out. And if there are those in your life that are offended or pissed off or reject you or make fun of you or anything like that because you share your truth, like your real truth, then you know what, sister? In my humble opinion, IMHO, they should not be part of your life. They do not deserve to be part of your life. And I think the story that you most likely are holding on to about this, what you're going to find, is it's actually just not true. It's not true. And the more that you stand up in your truth, the more you have the courage to really speak, the more that when you feel called to share something, you do it. You listen to the voice inside, you listen to God, whatever works for you. Listen to the calling from the universe. The more that you will realize that by truly being who you are is the greatest path to feeling free in your life. Free. Do you hear that? Freedom. Freedom from being, it's not like you're never afraid, but just like, freedom and being very comfortable in who you are. Not being like, okay, I'm around this group of people, so I shouldn't say these things. Or I really want to say this, but what are they going to think of me? And do you realize how much less energy that you will expend? Stress, anxiety, fear, all that stuff, by not having to live in that state. Like, that's huge. So here's your more tip for today. I want you to share something that you've been wanting to share, something you've been feeling, in any way that you want to do it. Have a close conversation with a good friend that you love and admire and trust, with your husband or boyfriend, with your mom, post it up online somewhere, but speak your truth. Stand up and speak who you are. And I think what you are going to notice is that the people around you that really matter will actually rally around you. You will inspire them and they will lift you up in that inspiration and with their love. And it won't be what you think. I'm telling you right now, it'll not be what you think, sister. I've been through this for a long time now, several years, so I get it. I get all those feelings. But the only way to move past is to actually take the leap and say, you know what? I'm going to share this up. Again, whether it's a short conversation, you're texting your bestie, you're talking to your husband during a date night about something, or you're writing something and you're putting it up online and really sharing that. So there you go, sister. Now listen, finishing up, I want to make sure you subscribe to Women Want to More newsletter. I'm going to send you some amazing video trainings. And I'm going to also, we'll see. I did a recent podcast about meditation. And in that, there was a discount code for a meditation tool that I used that I was able to get for us all here in the the Women Want to More tribe, also in the sisterhood, but the Women Want to More tribe, which is called Muse, M-U-S-E. And so, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put in the show notes, I'm going to put the link for that. We'll have that as a regular thing because you get 15% off. It's a tool that has absolutely transformed my life, for reals. I've meditated for over a year daily, mostly twice a day. It's totally changed my life. And I had been an on and off meditator for a while. So I'm going to have that in the show. So this is what you get when you sign up for the newsletter. You get some video trainings. I'm going to email you each day some of my blog posts that I write. I'm going to share them with you in the newsletter. And you're going to get the show notes. And so it's hard for me to go, hey, here's the link for this. Here's the link for that. So here's all you got to do. Okay, here's the one link. You go to drkarenosburn.com. So that's spelled drkarenosburn.com/action guide. So drkarenosburn.com/action guide. I'm going to send you all the video trainings, the More For training, how to start your day in power, and then you'll make sure to get all the podcasts deposited to your inbox 5 days a week, and other great information, including the book that's coming out in fall of 2018. So I will talk on the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from you speaking your truth every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.